Shall we begin? Let's begin.
What is going on, guys? It is Dan the Man, aka Daniel's son, and we are going to spoiler talk. So, spoilers, everything I talk about on the new Marvel TV series that just happened on Disney Plus, 2 episodes, while some of the reviewers got 3 episodes, which I'm jelly, but 2 episodes of Wandavision. This has been, we haven't had an MCU property, I think, for a year already, a year and a half, maybe. I think the last one was Endgame. We were supposed to get Black Widow. Like it's been a long time, but I was looking forward to WandaVision. Now, WandaVision, because I love Scarlet Witch. I love Elizabeth Elizabeth Olsen, Paul Bettany as Vision. I love that as well. I mean, we got a cast here. We got Catherine Hahn, Kat Dennings is supposed to appear in here. Even Evan Peters from American Horror Story, and then he was Quicksilver in the Fox adaptation of Quicksilver, which was the best one, which was the X-Men movies. He was the best one out of there. So we got a strong cast on this WandaVision. And WandaVision, when you looked at the trailers and then watching these episodes, it is something completely kind of off the wall, definitely different. They're really presenting something different than a lot of the, especially with a lot of the Marvel shows that are coming in, and then some of the Marvel shows we saw on Netflix. So I like that, though. I like that we're getting something new, fresh, whether you like it or you don't. So before I start this review and really put my thoughts and give you guys my thoughts on the whole 2 episodes of the series so far, I haven't listened to full reviews. I wanted to kind of come in here fresh. I've just seen kind of little words of mouth on how, like, what the audience is kind of feeling about this show right now, the 2 episodes. And I think it's definitely mixed. I think a lot of people don't get it. I don't think they don't get it. I think that it's a little bit too bizarre for them. They don't know what's the point of these 2 episodes. It's more of like setting up to something, which you watch these 2 episodes. It's definitely setting up to it's madness, man. It's like setting up to different eras of sitcoms. It's kind of like a love letter to sitcoms. So our first 2 episodes, I know a lot of people probably didn't like it because it is that love letter to like 50s era sitcoms. Like, I'm a huge I Love Lucy fan. I love the show I Love Lucy. And when I watched, especially the first episode, I really got that vibe. I mean, it's very over the top, comical, housewife with her husband, which is Vision. A lot of people are wondering, what the hell? Why is Vision in here? How is he alive? There's nothing being explained, which I like. They're not explaining anything to you just yet. There is a lot of hints throughout these 2 episodes where I like that zany, like, there's something that happens in these episodes, especially when she goes to one of the girls' like party, and she cuts herself, and then Scarlet Witch has this like weird episode with this chick. The red plane in the second episode. I'm skipping through the second episode here already. So there's a lot of like hints, clues, especially at the end of episode 2. There's a lot here. There's a lot of like definitely intense moments, I should say, and when it's all kind of happy-go-lucky throughout. So right away off the bat, I think the cast is strong, but while I was watching these 2 episodes, I did like the I Love Lucy aspect to it, the 50s, the noisy neighbor or Agnes who comes in, her neighbor. She's already befriends her. Of course, there's something probably gonna happen there. You've seen it in the trailer. But the thing is, I love Elizabeth Olsen, But in the beginning of episode 1, I wasn't necessarily feeling her acting. I love her as an actress, but I think it might have been just the script, and it might have been her a little bit having to do this over the top kind of whimsical, not whimsical, but like this character as the 50s. It might have been that. But then I was thinking the whole time, like, where's her accent? And Vision even says to his boss in episode 1, she's from Sokovia, or she's from, I forgot where she, in the MCU where she was from, but she has an accent. And throughout the movies, little by little, she loses the accent, but you really notice it in this episode. And when, like, Vision is, like, addressing she's not from, America, it kind of brings more noticeability to it. So as much as I like Elizabeth Olsen, I think in the first episode, I think she bounces back in the second episode, but in the first episode, I was like, the voice is really bugging me. It's definitely something I have to switch my brain from not present time, but back in the future time, like the 50s. So going back to those sitcoms, and it's a big shift for sure. So I think that was the one kind of gripe I had with the first kind of like episode. But then when we move on to the second one, Elizabeth Olsen really showcases that she does have a lot of good range in her acting. She's a actress that really is kind of not necessarily relatable, but you feel comfortable. You feel like this is an actual person, not trying to act, but like I could get along with her. And we love, Scarlet Witch in the Vision relationship. I know in the comics it has a big lore. I believe they have kids. Like there's a whole thing. Of course, there's the X-Men comics. There's House of M. A lot of people are saying that it's gonna tie into House of M, or Kevin Feige's kind of interpretation of it. But the Wanda and Vision relationship, I necessarily didn't really care for it, especially in the comics. In the movies, it was okay. But here, it's very delightful. Like, the two bounce off each other really well. And I got to give kudos to Paul Bettany. He's really, he's like, I always say charming, but he's a really very light. Like, it's good to see Vision very light, and the camaraderie and the chemistry between him and his wife, Scarlet. So it's another, like, you just never wouldn't have imagined it while watching the MCU movies. So bringing a show, really, you could play around with these characters. And I think this is a much needed kind of fresh take on the relationship between these two. And I think in the long run, it's going to work out when it comes to really being attached to these characters. Because, come on, honestly, in the movies, we saw Vision, he was a badass, but did we think he was our favorite character? I think Cap was taking that mantle, or Robert Iron Man. But Elizabeth Olsen has always been one of my favorite female characters, and just overall characters, because she almost took out Thanos herself. She's such a powerful character, powerful. She's just powerful. And I hope that they do bring the X-Men into here, because she has a big story. Like, she is the strongest probably mutant, and I want to bring in that word mutant. I want to bring, they're mutants. I want, just like Antimanium for Wolverine, bring that in. I'm getting ahead of myself though. So the 1950s sitcom aspect to it, I really enjoyed. I thought it was like, it's just a nice little fresh take of like a comic book property fitting into that realm. And I think that's what a lot of people don't necessarily, they don't get, or they're confused, they don't get, or they just really like taken aback, because they're looking for a comic book kind of feel, when you do get little aspects of that in the 2 episodes, but you get more of something just going somewhere down a different path. So I think we went from the 50s. At the end of episode 2, we saw Wanda. She was pregnant. We saw this guy come out of the sewer. There's a lot of baffling things that's happening, and then it's reversed, and then we see colors being presented, and we see like it looked like it was jumping into a new era. So when I watched the trailer, you could definitely see a lot of different kind of probably new era kind of. They're trying to do a little like a little new era, like go 50s, go 70s, go 80s, go 90s, that kind of thing when it comes to like paying homage to sitcoms. So you'll be getting like, the babies are coming. It's kind of like I Love Lucy, but colored now. And eventually you'll get to like a Full House. I mean, Elizabeth Olsen's sisters are freaking famous, but you'll get kind of like that the 80s 90s kind of feel to it too when moving along the show. I think that's what they're doing. They're jumping to different eras throughout the series. I mean, we only got 2 episodes, but you could already tell they're probably leaving the 50s era. They're going to leave the 50s era I think after episode 2, and we're going to episode 3. So, and I think a lot of people had a problem with the humor. I mean, the humor is in the 50s. It was like knock on your head kind of humor. It was in your face humor. It was like playing it like kind of humor. It's not supposed to be like a very genuine, fluent kind of humor. It's supposed to be over the top. It's supposed to be like a Buster Keaton, Charlie Chaplin kind of deal there. So I think a lot of people we live in 2021. And then these shows back in the day, Andy Griffin Show, I Love Lucy. I mean, hell, I don't think a lot of people know what Married with Children was. Full House. I mean, that's why you see a lot of these shows coming back in today's, like Saved by the Bell, rebooted and stuff. But a lot of people don't know these shows back in the day. So that's why I don't think they really get the humor of this show or what they're trying to present. The writing in here, I think, is really great. I mean, like I said, it really made me feel like it was a 50s thing going on. I thought that was kind of funny when Vision gets chews gum because he can't eat. He can't eat, and it gets stuck inside of him. And they have a little cartoon in there. The commercials, the toaster of what was it, like the Stark Industry toaster? I thought that was really great. But it's totally leading up to something. It's totally leading up to something. But the thing is, I want it to lead up to where these first two episodes really do pay off. It's really throwing you into the frying pan already. There's no oil. It's just like garlic in there. Forgot the oil. We'll get the oil later and put it in there and let it little simmer. So I want the 2 episodes to really kind of like, I feel like the 2 episodes are kind of like anthology episodes, so a little bit to me. I feel like they just kind of are its own thing. Yeah, they sprinkle in a lot of things that might lead up to something, but maybe I think the upcoming other episodes might have more weight to it, or definitely more of the overall plot to it. But I can see why people are kind of like, well, I'll keep going, but like you haven't grasped me in the first 2 episodes. I can see it. I can see why. Personally, though, I did enjoy it. I thought the black and white, and then the frame of the picture, that was great too. Like, I don't think if it's just me, but it wasn't full screen. It went back to that kind of classic, bars on the side kind of look. The makeup, the hair design, I think Paul Bettany has done a fantastic job with Vision in this show. Like, he does come off really likable. He's a very tall guy too. I like how he's like English. I believe he's English. He sounds English, and he's in the office, and yet Elizabeth Olsen doesn't have an accent. The whole boss thing, too, was a little funny. So yeah, I mean, there's not too much. It just felt like definitely both episodes felt like just its own self-contained episode. Yeah, the first episode, of kind of introducing this different world. You're questioning like, how the hell did Vision get here? How they don't remember how they got, when they got married. They don't remember their anniversary. There's a lot of like, what happened at the end of Endgame what was Wanda doing after that? And we don't really know. I think she was in Tony Stark's funeral, and that was about it. That's the last time we saw her. But I did enjoy the 2 episodes. I think bravo for bringing back a lot of that 50s feel, nostalgia. It looked great. Elizabeth Olsen looked fantastic. Paul Bettany. The design work was great. The sets were great. They were watching the first episode just really made me like, because when Vision goes from his house to his work, I'm like, that's I Love Lucy, you know. Ricky's at his house, but then Ricky's at his nightclub. I loved it. I think people who watch those shows will appreciate it a little bit more. It is going to be interesting jumping to a new era, and then now you have the color, you have like maybe this 80s thing going on, and then eventually at the end, you're going to have the present day MCU. We know this is leading to Doctor Strange 2 and freaking madness of whatever is called a movie. And you know, Sam Raimi is going to bring so much to the table in that movie. I mean, if you don't know who Sam Raimi is, he did the Evil Dead series, so that tells you a lot. Now, this is not, I think the series is not definitely, this show, WandaVision, is not supposed to be, I believe, a horror-esque. Maybe towards the end it might be. It's supposed to be, I think it's going to really tear Wanda apart at the end, because she's going to have kids. She has Vision back. We don't know how, but she has Vision back. She's gonna regain what her memories of what happened, or maybe she does know what's happening, and maybe that's why she said no, maybe to go away. Maybe she's doing this all herself. Maybe this is why a lot of people are saying this is tied to House of M. But she's gonna have to let it all go. Vision, I think, for Endgame really needs to solidify Des. I don't want Scarlett Johansson Black Widow to come back. I don't want Vision to come back. I don't want the first Gamora to come back. I want Des to mean something. And Vision, just like the Star Wars Rogue One, when everybody died and they're bringing back Cassian back for his show, I think that benefits for the movie, because we didn't get a lot of Cassian in the movie. We didn't get too attached to him. That's the same thing with Vision. I think Vision, we didn't get too attached to him in the movies, but this show is going to bring something to the table where we're going to be attached to him when we go back and watch those movies. But I think they need to sustain his death. I think Wanda is kind of like if you spoiler on Wonder Woman 1984, it's kind of like the Steve Trevor kind of thing going on there, where she has to relinquish Vision. I don't think he's necessarily alive. I think he is a manifestation. But we'll see how that goes. And her kids, I think the kids are going to be going away as well. So this is going to lead to a lot of heartbreak, I believe, at the end of the series. And a lot of growth for Scarlet Witch, for Wanda. I call her Scarlet Witch because she's also Scarlet Witch. This is a possibility, of course, leading up to Doctor Strange 2, a possibility of introducing the X-Men. I really believe that they should introduce the X-Men. There's a possibility. There's a lot of possibilities. I'm just very excited to see where this leads to at the end. There's somebody like calling to Wanda. To me, it sounded like a little bit like Tony Stark, or not Tony Stark. Steve. It sounded a little bit like Captain America, but I'm definitely wrong on that. I'm pretty sure it's probably not Cap. But even though Chris Evans just announced that he's coming back, so. The first 2 episodes just gives you that little glimpse, that little glimpse. Another thing is Agnes as the character, with her and Wanda's relationship. There's something going to be probably more hard-hitting leading. I think I heard that she might be the villain, Agnes. So we'll see the noisy neighbor. I do like the whole thing where she brought a bunch of food because she's supposed to make dinner for her husband's boss. She didn't know. She thought it was the anniversary thing. Elizabeth Olsen looking fire, but she tells Agnes to leave. She uses her powers to make dinner and all that stuff. But this show it's just gonna be very interesting going from episode to episode to episode. I'm very excited to see what they do. I'm hoping that they showcase that we do appreciate, Wanda, and she's a very cheerful. She wants to be happy. You could tell she's in love with Vision. I'm starting to like this couple more now. I mean, I'm starting to really enjoy this couple, especially in the right now in live action. The comics, it's not like I'm going to go back and read all their lovey-dovey stuff, but when it comes to the TV show and the movies, I'm starting to understand why they love each other, why Wanda loves him. It makes me appreciate the scene even more already when they're meeting up in Infinity War. So it's doing its job. It's just having a show with these two characters is really expanding their characters. Same that's going to go with Falcon and Winter Soldier, and then a lot of the villains that are going to be coming up as well on these TV shows. So the Hawkeye is probably going to be a great example too of really getting more of Jeremy Renner and I believe that's his daughter, right? His daughter. I don't know too much of the lore of Hawkeye, but so WandaVision. Did you guys not? Where are you at with me? Do you agree with me or you disagree with me? Do you think it was a little bit slow, that it was pointless? Did you enjoy it? Do you think there was a lot of mystery and you're looking forward to unraveling the mystery as we go along? Are you feeling Wanda and Vision's romance? Are you feeling their comical timing? I mean, the comedy in these two episodes, it's supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be so out there, corniness, like that's how the kind of the 50s work. I'm not saying that like it was like really like crazy corny like bad acting like Lucy and all that. No, I mean they did for that time, that was it, that was the shit, and they did a fantastic job. Ricky, Lucy, all that stuff. All the 50s was another golden age of acting, so I'm not knocking it or anything like that. I'm just saying this is how it was presented back in the day, and I like how they recreated it for the modern time. And it is the modern time. The one more thing I'm going to point out is that, yes, it is bringing back to that 50s era, but you have like the slick, I think a lot of people are looking at that slick, also camera movement. It's just not, it doesn't have that like look to it, like that it's old. It looks new. It looks like somebody shot it and put the little bit of a filter on it. But the setting's great. So it's kind of like a new style, new age, 50s era, golden age show. And I think it worked. I believed it worked. So thank you guys for listening. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. We would really appreciate it. Like the video if you like it. And let me know what you guys thought about WandaVision. Am I there? Am I not there? Am I hitting the points? Am I not hitting the points? What do you think this whole madness is really all about? And do you agree with me? Do you think that Vision will eventually evaporate at the end of the series? Which, I mean, Wanda's going to have to let him go, or it was maybe her imagination, or maybe she's in all these theories and stuff. I just want to know what you guys think about the first two episodes. So I'll be covering WandaVision toward the very end, and then look for my other videos coming away. I'll be giving out look for my Funko Pop giveaway. I'll be giving that out at the end of the month. So subscribe, hit the notification bell for my videos, and like the video if you like it. I am Daniel Son. Can't wait for more. Thank you for listening. I am out.